At this point in time, you are completely done with developing your app in Flash. So this is going to show you how to take it to the final step, which is going to be exporting for Android. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to File. We're going to go to File, and we're going to choose Publish Settings. And this is where you specify the settings that are going to determine how it gets published. So if you wanted to export for the web, you would choose one of the many Flash players. What we're going to choose is we're going to choose Air for Android. And we're going to make sure that this is set to ActionScript 3.0. We're going to go ahead and click OK. Go ahead and leave all of this other stuff with the default settings. So when we come back to the File menu, there's a new option, and it's Air for Android settings. So this is going to be the menu that's going to allow us to customize our Android app. So if you look across the top of this new window, we have 4 tabs: General, Deployment, Icons, and Permissions. We're going to go through the first 3, and we're not going to do anything with permissions. So let's start with General. So the first thing we notice is the output file. So this is going to be the name of the file that someone sees when they actually download the file, just like any other document. We're just going to go ahead and name this, so I can call this Mike's app. The .apk is the extension of the file that actually gets installed on an Android OS device. So the first part, you can call this whatever you like. You don't want to mess with the .apk part, so you want to leave that part as is. You want to choose a location to save your file. So in this case, I'll just go ahead and save it to my desktop. That's where the final file will be exported to, and it automatically creates the path. Okay, so then you also want to give the actual file a name. The app ID, that's a unique name. And if you notice right below, it shows a convention, and this is the convention we need to follow. So I'm going to choose com.mikeswebsite.mikesapp. The version, this is version 1.0. If I go and update this file to version 2 or version 1.01 with a minor update, this is where with each sequential update I would rename it. The version label, this would be if I wanted to provide a little bit more info about the version. So maybe this is still version 0 beta. Aspect ratio, if your app is designed to be in a specific way, if it's designed to be portrait or landscape, or you can just leave it in auto. So depending on how it's designed to flip, it will automatically do that. I'm going to go ahead and leave full screen, auto orientation, and CPU alone. Let's take a look at included files. By default, it's going to include the .swf file. This is Shockwave Flash. So this is the same file that gets uploaded to the web. So if I exported this Flash file, the .fla file, and I wanted to put it onto the web, it would come out as a .swf. So it's automatically including that in the package because that's what's creating the interactivity. The .xml file includes all the code that connects to the .swf file. If we wanted to include anything else in our package, like a Word doc, PDF, or video files, this is where what we could do is we can simply click on the plus sign and do that. It's asking me to save my file, which I can go ahead and do, or I can choose no for right now. So we could try to publish it now, but we're not done yet. So let's go up here to the top and let's click on deployment. So up here we have an option for a certificate. So the certificate is a way to identify that this is a legitimate application. So legitimate developers, what they'll do is they'll pay for certificates. They'll pay for certificates from places. Let me open up a web browser. They'll pay for certificates from places like verisign.com. And what this is, it's going to be a simple little document that gets installed into your app that identifies you as being this person. Anybody, including you, can now upload something to the market. So, but you have no idea who is actually creating that app. Is it something you can trust? So the whole idea behind this is you can buy one of these SSL certificates, and what they're going to do is they're going to authenticate that you are indeed who you say you are. So what it does, it creates a little bit more legitimacy for somebody who's considering downloading something or installing something on their device. For this project, you definitely do not need to do that, but what you do need to do is you need to simply create your own. Okay, so in the future, you might want to consider buying one. I think they're about $100 for a certificate that you can use over and over again. We're going to simply, just in order to create this application that we can test on our devices and for this project, we're going to click on Create, and you're just going to fill out this info. So it's pretty much meaningless because it's not being verified. So I can be anybody I want to be. So I could say I work for Apple. And you do have to create a password. And then what you're going to do is you're going to save it. So what I should do now, I don't think I did this already, I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop. I'll call it Published App. And I'll click on Save. So this is the location that it's going to save my certificate to, and I'm leaving type and validity period at the default settings, and I click on OK. And my self-signed certificate has been created. Notice that it's specifying that it's self-signed. That's because we just created it. This is not something that's actually purchased, that's legit. You then have to create a password. This is a password to be able to go back in and make future changes. And I'm just going to go ahead and keep the Android deployment type set at the default. And I'll also leave get error runtime from Google Android Market set at the default. If you actually have your phone connected via USB to your computer, after you publish from Flash, it will actually install it directly on the phone. I'm just going to go ahead and leave that set unchecked. Let's click on icons. So this is where we have our location to connect our different sized icons depending on the resolution of the phone that it will be installed on. I think I only have one icon on my computer. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to go ahead and click on this. I'm going to first specify the size. I believe I have a 72 by 72. I'm going to click on the folder and I locate my icon. I click on open. It gives me my preview of my icon at 72 by 72. Remember that you guys also need icons for both of the other sizes as well. So everything should be set up and ready to go. We click on publish. So what it's telling me now is my APK was packaged successfully, so that's the file that gets installed, but a warning occurred. So that's something else I'll have to take a look at. Now typically the warnings are very minor things. It's just giving you suggestions. There's lots of little warnings that might come up. But let's go take a look at what we have. So I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to go ahead and hide Flash. And here is the file. And that's the file that is going to get installed on the actual device.